Hello students, here I'm making a video on three lessons. So beginning with the 16 practice problem. So the first one is right here. What number should be added to this to so that the result in an expression is same as is a perfect square. So how do we get a perfect square? So if you did not understand the meaning of let's take a simple example of x uh, 3 here. And I just want to know what is this square of this binomial. You will see it is x plus 3 and x plus 3. When you multiply x plus 3 and x plus 3, so you get x squared, and then x times this, you get 3x, then 3x, 3 times x, again 3x, and then 3 times 3 is 9. So watch this. This is 3 is added twice, 3 plus 3. So what we get is x plus 3, the whole square is x squared plus 6x plus 9. So that means this is called perfect square. And what's the relation between the 9? What's this 9? This 9, how did we get 9 is because this 3 was squared. So this 3 is squared. And how did we get this 6? If you see this 3 which you see is doubled. So this is doubled. So all you need is just imagine if this 9 was missing and the question is asked, how do I get this perfect square? So what goes here is the trick is just use the formula. This is b, so b, do half of it, okay, and then square. And you get the answer, which is 6 over 2. And if you square this, you get 3 square, which is 9. And that's how you get 9 here. So I hope this helps to do any of this perfect square. Like here, what's missing here is it's x squared minus 15x, and we want to make it a perfect square. Means we want to square and write something here. Now, what goes in the box here to make a perfect square? So you'll have to take half of this. So minus 15 is a number, and you make it half. And see, so if you make a half, and then you also have to square, which is actually minus 7.5 square. So this is 7.5 is the main number uh, which is important to write here. Remember I was showing the earlier the 3 there. So this goes uh, so it's like minus 7.5. This piece is like minus 7.5 plus another minus 7.5. So that minus 7.5 goes here. It's like minus 7.5, and then you want to square it. See, the one that we showed you is if you look at the bottom part, look at this. So this 9 which you have, you 9 divide by, so how did we get this 9 is you do half of, so 6, you want to divide and square, which means it is 3 square. And this 3 is the same thing which you write here, uh, 3 square, see? So that's how you do it. Now let's go back to the one that we did. So all you do is half of that 7 minus 7.5, and if you multiply this negative 7.5 negative 7.5 twice, so 7.5 multiplied by 7.5, 5 times 5 is 25, 35, 37, and then you add, sorry, 7 times 5 is 35, 3 carry, and 7 times 7 49, 49, 50, 51, 52. So I'm doing it fast. You can check my answer, 56.25. So this whole thing becomes 56.25. So that's what the answer is. I think if you see is 56.25 is right here. But very important is how did you get it? You just make half of it and double and square it. But when you're writing it is in the binomial square, it should be, it is x, and there is a minus, so minus 7 point, because this was at minus 7.5. And that's it. So this takes care of the first problem. I hope I made sense to you. Now, basically, if you understand this piece, then you can extend to any of the situation. Just wanted to show if there was x minus, let's say there was x square minus 8x. So how do you make this as a perfect square? What goes here? All you do is just make a half of it, which is 4. Of course, it is minus 4. And then if you square it, it becomes 16. So this is 16. But when you want to write in the binomial form, you put x and then minus 4. That's how you do it. Let's do the second question. Okay, now this is the second question. Noah uses quadratic formula to solve this equation. He finds these are the answers. Okay, but he checks his answer and then he realizes he finds that this or neither of these two are solutions. So what went wrong? So I want you to watch this and pause the video for a while and see if you can figure it out yourself. Okay, hope you figured it out. Watch this. So if you look at this equation, if you do this, see this, the ax square plus bx, the main quadratic function in standard form. So the a is 2, the b is 3, and the c is minus 5. Okay, so that's the first step. And then the formula says x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac and divide by 2a. So it looks like he did the first step correct, the second step correct, the third step correct. And then he wrote this is minus b, right? So if it is minus b, and he did this correct because this was plus 3, right? So but by default there is a minus, so it is minus 3. That's taken care. And then there is a plus and minus, which he did. Then there is a square root, of course. And then over here, what mistake he did? Let's see what he did was, let me write it bigger. He should have shown this, even though it's okay. So that's the thing which he missed. Then there is a 4, so 4 times, which he did. And A is 2, which he did also. There's a C, and C is minus 5. That also is correct. And then he simplified this, then divide by 2, because A is 2, and that also looks good. So everything looks good, but then where is the fault? So this part is 2 negatives makes it positive here. And 9 times 9, 3 times square is 9, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 5 is 40, and you add 40 is 49, and then looks good that he did get 49, see? And square root of 49 is 7. And then he worked out and maybe minus 3 plus or minus 7 divided by 4. And working out separately, it means there are two answers, one with minus 3 plus 7 divided by 2, and the other one is minus 3 minus 7 divided by, 4. And you can see this will be 4 over 4 is 1, and the other one is minus 10 over 4, okay, which is minus 5 over 2. Okay, and that looks good. But where is the mistake? So, and can you pause this video and figure out where is the mistake then? And the mistake is, remember the quadratic formula can be used only when it is equal to 0. Look at this. But here there was a 4. So how can he use the quadratic formula? So he cannot. That's wrong. So we need to get a 0 on this. So the right way to do, if you see there's a second question for you. So the right way to do is, so make it bigger now, the equation. Where is the equation? So the right way to do is you need to get away with this 4 from right. So subtract 4, and when you do that, you get 2x squared plus 3x and minus 9 equals 0. Okay, so now we have option now to solve, since we are talking about quadratic equation, a quadratic formula. So now your a is 2, b is 3, and c is negative 9. So when you apply in the formula x equals minus b plus minus in this equation and then 2a, so therefore x equals minus b, this is plus 3. So because there's a minus b, we can directly replace it by minus 3 here, plus or minus. And b is 3, but b square will make it 9. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times a is 2, so that's 2. And then c is negative 9. So this is negative 9 here. And 2 times a is 2. So this will reduce to 3 plus or minus. Okay, let's see what's going on here. This negative and negative makes it positive. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 9 is 72, and 72 plus 9 becomes 81. See how beautiful, and this is 4, and square root of 81 is 9, divided by, and now you have two answers. So this is x equals x equals, so from here we can write 2 ones, minus 3 plus 9 divided by 4, and the other one is minus 3 minus 9 plus 4. You work this out, this becomes 6 by 4, and this becomes minus 12 by 4, which is minus 3. That's the first answer. And you can reduce this to 3 over 2. And this is how you can do. But some of you will say, hey, can you do some another way to do this? It's a 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. So you can do this using factorization also. But right now I will skip this because we have so many problems to do. You can also use uh, quadratic because 2 and 9 is minus 18, and you see this we can split as 3 times 6 is also 18, and there is a plus 3 here, and the sum of this could be plus 3 minus 3 and plus 60, minus 3 and plus 6 is plus 3, and that's how you can write this as 2x squared and uh, plus 6x minus 3x, and then factorize the first two. The 2 and x is the common factor, and you can write x plus 3. And here you can see there's a minus 3, which you have to take common factor. So it become x plus 3 because minus and plus. And you can see both are x plus 3. So this is x plus 3 is multiple of this 2x and also multiple of minus 3. So that's how you figure out. And you can solve this for x, and you get x equals opposite of plus 3 is minus 3, opposite of minus 3 is plus 3, and then there is a 2 here, so divide by 2. So that's another way to do. Okay, solve a quadratic equation with your choice. So you can use your own method. I try to get a 0 on the right side, so the best thing is add 1 both sides like this. So you get x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. And you can use a quadratic factoring method. You can use also, since we are working on the quadratic formula, uh, and you can see this is already a perfect. This looks like a perfect square. Now let's see why this is a perfect square. It's because if you see this one we can write it as 1 square, and this base which you see this base, if you double it, it becomes 1 2, which is right here. See? So it means we can write this as a directly square of first one and this one which is already which is 1 square. So this because of this minus, put minus, and it's already done for you. So all you do is you're thinking, suppose this was minus 2, you make a half of it, and half of minus 2, if you take half of minus 2 and square it, it is 1 square. And so this is 1 square, which is 1. That's the one right here. So that's a trick. If you want to know whether it is a perfect trinomial, then we can do this way. But then if you get confused, then you can use a quadratic formula. And what is the quadratic formula? Is the one that we did before. So we can use x. Okay, the equation that we got was x squared minus 2x and plus 1. So here there's a 1, so a is 1. Then this number that times x is b, so b is minus 2, and the number by itself is 1. So once you get this, then you have the quadratic formula is minus b plus minus. So b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So now let's plug it in. Now this means minus b. It means opposite of b. b is minus 2, so we can write directly plus 2. And again here, plug in b is minus 2 squared. And then there is a 4. The a is 1, so a is 1. And the c is also 1. Everything 2 times a is 1. And now we can solve this and you get plus 2. This piece will be 4. And 4 minus 4 is 0. See? And you get 2. So it is plus 2 over, which is 1. Because plus or minus 0, this square root of 0 is 0. So even though if it is plus and minus, doesn't matter. You're going to get only one answer. Where this means it is like a 1, there's a parabola. You see, parabolic shape. That's the solution x equals 1. And it's like this. We did this, but you forgot. So x equals 1 it is a equation of a upward parabola or concave arc. And the number where it goes through y-intercept is plus 1, then that's plus 1. And I hope you understand. That's the vertex, which is 1 and 0. Let's go to the fourth question. Okay, this kind of problem, we can do many different ways. I'll try to use completing the square method. Now, what is this completing the square method? Is remember these two pieces are important. X squared, so x squared plus 8x, and you can say there's an 8 there. So what you do is just take the half of 8, which is 4 square and 16. But the problem is you don't have a 16 here. See? Oh, sorry. The first thing I will do, yeah. So if you need to have a 16 here. So what I can do is I can write plus 16, but I can just add plus 16. If you add plus 16, uh, yeah. But since there is already 14 here, and 16 is 2 more than 14. So all you do is just add 2 both sides. It means this equation can be written as 14 and this is 23. On both sides, you can add plus 2 here and a plus 2. And when you do that, you get x squared plus 8x and plus 16, and the right side is 25. And you can say this is a perfect trinomial, which can be written as square of the binomial. And because there's an x, you put x. Because there's a plus, you put plus. And remember, this is 4 square, and this is the piece which goes right here, and you're done. And the right side is 25. Now, how do we do this now? So how do I get away with the square? So that means your x plus 4 becomes, on the right side is plus minus square root of 25. How? Because the formula is if x squared is b, x is plus minus square root of b. That's what is important. Now, this piece is you got an easy one because square root of 25 is 5. So let me go back and from this step, let me write up. There's no space. So the x plus 4, you get x plus 4 is plus minus 5. And then you have two options. One is the plus 5 and the other one is minus 5. And you know the answer. Subtract 4, you get x equals 1. And if you subtract for this side, you get x equals minus 9. And you're done. So this is how you can do using the completing the square method. Or you could also do this way. See, the same problem, you could subtract this minus 23, sorry, subtract minus 23 both sides, and you end up getting 7, 8, 9, right? Because from 23 you take away 14, you get you get minus 9 equals 0. Now this is an easy one because we can directly factorize this because there's a 1, so you can put x and x. And you split this 9, of course there's a minus 9. And what are your options is, you have option 1 times 9 is 9 and 3 times 3 is 9. But because there's a minus, you have a plus 8. So when you multiply the two numbers, you have to have a positive. So this is plus, you have to get a 8. I mean, when you make a sum of this. If you see this, these two pieces, 1 and plus 9 is 10. And if you subtract, you get minus 8. But if you write minus 9 and plus 1, this you get minus 8. So this is a better option where you use plus for 9 and minus 1. Now plus 9 and when you multiply minus 1, you get minus 9, which is right here. And plus 9 together with minus 1, you get plus 8. So this is the best bet. So you use plus 9 and minus 1. Of course, you can also use the box method this way also. And this is x and this is x, if you remember. And the number is minus 9 goes here. X times x is x squared. And these two boxes should be together. These two areas should be plus 8x. And the only way to do this is, you can say this goes, this is what you have to do. So one of them is plus 9 and the other one is minus 1x, like this. And then you can say from here, this has to be minus 1. And many of you forgot 9 times x is 9x. And see, it does help. So you get the answer as x minus 1 and x plus. So different approach to solve. So this, any question like this is, you see there's a middle term, linear term, which is missing here. So such cases, all you do is, add 15, it's like a square root method. So you add 15 both sides, you get x. X squared is 15, and then you write, okay, you do 15, but you put this, but here you have to put plus or minus. So you get x equals plus or minus square root of 15. So your answer is plus 15 and also minus. Some of you may say, hey, can't you write it like, no, I mean, this is not a good perfect square, but you can still write it as root 15 as square and use the difference of square formula and say, okay, 1 with plus and minus, so which is root 15 like this. So you can use the formula a square minus b square is a. But this is easier. Let's not get. Okay, question number. Now, let's use the quadratic formula here. X equals. Okay, so A is this, B is my negative 2, C is negative 5. And we can write, because B is negative 2, we can write the opposite here. So this minus B basically means opposite of B, which is minus 2. And you can directly write plus 2. And this is minus 2 because B square and square, and then 4 times. A is 7 and C is negative 5. And A is like a big step here, 2 times 7 because is now that's because 2. So this will be 4. We can do the scratch work. 2 negative and negative makes it positive. And 5 times 5 is 7 times 5 is 35. Yeah, I think the easier way to do will be I'll do 4 times 5 is 20. And times 7 is 14. You get square root of 140. So this is square root of 140. Or we can also write it as 4 times 3 like this. This also is correct. And then 2 times 7 is 14. Which we can write this 4, which you see here. We can separate it. So you can separate the radical. What I'm saying is square root of 4 times 35. You can write it as this way. And this answer is 2, so you get the square root of. So become a little complicated because of this thing. So it becomes 2 plus or minus 2 root of 35, and down is 14. So still you can reduce this dividing 2 to all of them, get 7. So your two answers is 2 plus or minus root 35 and divide by. I think this is better because you will not able to use the factoring method. This is the only method we can use. So quadratic helps for anything. So the first answer with plus and the second one with minus, and you're done. Such question, if you come across it is 2, 12, 8, they are even, you can divide by 2, 2, 2, and you get an easy one. And then you can use complete the square method. Let's do the completing the square method. What I'm saying is uh, half of 6 is 3. And if you square it, you get 9. So you have to add 9, 9 both sides. Okay. Remember, this is your 9 is 3 square, which is 13 here. Now this is a perfect trinomial. So all you do is this. Because there's a plus, you put plus x here. And this is the piece which you put here. And, and then get off with the square and put a plus minus, then divide by, sorry, plus or. So the answer becomes, sorry, okay, I'll go here. So this is x plus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 13. Nothing there, and then subtract 3. Or there are two answers. One is x plus 3 is square root of 13, and other one is, and then subtract 3, and you get the answer. I hope you understood. Let's go to the fourth question. So what are the what? So here, what are the solutions of this, right? First is it's better to add 3 both sides so that we know it is x squared. The question, what are the solutions? Which one is the correct answer? And you get plus 3, and you see the work shown is in the quadratic form. So this is the formula, right? So which one is right? Let's check. So when you look at this equation here, so there's a 1 here, so the A is 1. This is the B is -4. And this is C is plus 3. So did a good job in the first one. This looks good because opposite of -4 is +4. And if you square this is correct. -4a. Now look at this. You can't have a is 0. How can you have a 0? A is 1. So this is wrong. Let's see the second one. The first part looks good. The second part is good. And then 4 times 1 times. So 4 is correct. A is 1 correct. And C is plus 3. And then he made a mistake. They put a -3 here. That is wrong. This is creating a problem. Because he saw this is minus. No, this is not -3. C is this one. So this is wrong. See how the C is this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. See all this rightly posted, and this is perfect. And maybe what about the last one? Oh, the last one, that's the mistake. So this is what I want you to see. This should have been +4 and not -4 because B is -4. And you can see in the formula it's the formula is minus b there, minus b. It means it has to be opposite of -4, which is should have been +4. Everything looks good here, this and this, except this is the mistake. So which expression is the, remember this square root of, if you have negative b, this is b times -1, which is square root of b times square root of -1. And by definition of create when the imaginary unit was created, this square root of -1 was given I, a letter I. I stands for the imaginary, the first letter of the imaginary number. Okay, so if you see this example that they gave was this should have been straight away 23 under the radical, and then this one, which is I. If you see, this is not this, sorry. If you see this, this is the correct one. Now, this is just a review because as we are approaching the final test on Wednesday, Tuesday. So if you see, this means it is 5 times I square. Remember, I square is -1. You may wonder why. Because I is square root of -1. And if you multiply itself, it becomes I times I, which is square root of -1 times square root of -1, which is I square. And this is square root of -1 squared, and that's why I square is -1. So this is -1, which is -5. And what you end up getting is this, but they want you to write in this form. So if you want to write in that form, we'll have to show the imaginary part also, because what they show is only the real part. The real part is uh, is -5, but I is missing, so it is 0 times I. You see this one, I square, each one of them is -1. This also is -1, which gives you +1, and you can write 1 plus 0i. This one, -3i, is multiplied itself twice. And when you do this, -3 is +9i squared, because there are two i's. But I square we know is -1, and which you get -9. And this -9, you can write it as -9 plus 0i. Okay. And the last one is this piece we'll have to do distribute this. This becomes 5 plus 4i, and 2 negative becomes +3. This and this become negative and 2i. But then these two pieces will give you 4 is 2i, and this will give you 8, and you are done. So they give you two complex numbers, this, and you are supposed to do this. First is k minus m. K is 3i, so 3i minus, and m is 7 minus 2i. Now, it means this is -1. Multiply -1 to go both. You get 3i minus 7, and minus minus is plus 2i. So because you're just using the distributive property, and then write the real part first, which is this is the real part, and these are imaginary part, which are like terms, and they combine to and you're done. That's the first part. What is k square means? K is this, so it is 3i square. It is multiplied by itself twice. And when you multiply itself, 3 times 3 is 9. And I is square. But we do know I is square of I is -1, which is -9. And then suddenly I is gone, vanished. So we have to show it. The show is 0 times I, and you're done. And then there is m squared. What is m is 7 minus 2i. So m squared is 7 minus 2i. It means you are multiplying itself. So 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times this is minus 49. First, so this is first outer inner, which is minus 49. And then the last, which is plus. 2 times 2 is 4i square. Now remember, this piece become negative for y, because I square is this piece that you see is -1 this. So that's why the final answer, this -4 and this become 53. And these are like term, which become minus 28i. Okay, so then come this piece. There was the last question is asking m times k. What does it mean? You're multiplying 7 minus 2i and 3i. So that you just multiply these two pieces. So that means now this is 3i. I can write it as 3i, 7 minus 2i. Now 3i and this will give you 21i, and this will be minus 6i squared. But I squared is -1. So what you get is minus and minus become plus 6. So but then you need to write in the right order, which is plus, just to show that this is a plus bi form. And this is done for lesson number 16. Let me go to do lesson number 7. Okay, this is a set. I'm beginning with lesson number 17. Lesson number 17, question number 1, practice problem. See, the first question is given to you. Looks a little confusing. The only reason there's a number half here. So if it is half, I'll just try to write it like a half x, just to make it easy. Maybe I don't know. You could do directly also, but instead of I'm going to write it like this: half x minus 14, and you can't have a fraction, so multiply by 2 all the terms. So multiply 2, multiply 2, multiply 2, multiply 2. So this goes away. You get a nice equation: 2x squared plus x minus 14 equals 0. So then we can think of, maybe, do you factorize 2 times 28? Can I split this 28 in to get 1 here? And we can say 4 times 7 is 28. 2 times 14 is 28, I think. And yeah, the 1 and 20, these are the only one. But because there's a minus, when you multiply, it should be negative. And when you need to get a plus 1, when you subtract, you have to get a plus 1, and none of them help. So the best bet is to use the quadratic formula. So once you get this piece, then you use, so A is 1, that's A, B is also 1, and C is negative 14. And then use the quadratic formula and plug it in. B is 1, so this becomes minus 1. 1 square minus 4 times A is 1 and B is negative 4. And you can get minus 1 plus or minus. That becomes 1 plus 2 negatives makes it positive, plus 16 divided by the A, I forgot the 1. So that becomes minus 1 plus or minus square root of 17. And so you have two answers for x. X is minus 1 plus square root of 17 divided by 2. And the other one is minus 1 minus square root of 17 divided by 2. And you're done. Anyway, have you seen I made a mistake here. This is the mistake. I think it should have been minus 28 here. So I'm sorry. But then good thing is we know how to use the quadratic. Let's see if this was the case. So it is 2x squared plus 1x and then minus 28 equals 0. Then this becomes 56. See, what are the options for 56? How do I break this? 56 is 1 and 56. 2 and 28. 3 does not go. 4 goes. 4 goes. 4 times 1 is 14, and then so this one also, if you subtract, you don't get 1. So our goal is to get this plus 1. And 5 doesn't go. 6, 7 goes. 7 goes 4 times.